In this Mosaic tips and tricks video, let's go through the process on how to add some notes to a drawing. As you can see, I am in the elevation view as well as the products tab. There are two ways to access the notes. One way is if you go to the libraries tab and you left click and you scroll down to notes, this will open up the note formatting menu. Let's just go ahead and cancel that out. The next way to do it is over here on the right, the last icon. It looks like a file folder. If you hover your mouse over there, you can see it says Add Note. If you're not getting those tool tips that pop up for you, please just simply go to the Tools menu and make sure your tool tips bar is checked. Let's go ahead and left click on the note icon, and then all you have to do is simply click on the actual drawing surface of Mosaic, and this pops up the format note. You can save notes with some text to go with that specific note. Like you can see, I have a note called microwave, but if I add this, it's going to say microwave by owner. And then I can actually put in the make and model number of this microwave. Now when I select the note that's called stove from my note library, once it's highlighted, all I have to do is select the use selected note here, and you can see it changes that note text. Now let's go ahead and add a note here. All I'm going to do is just highlight these. I'm just going to call this revision number. And we're just going to add revision date here. If I save this to the library, I can either add a new note to my note library, or I can overwrite one of my existing notes. Let's just call this note revision and select OK. Now you can see if I select the stove and use selected note, it changes my note text. Revision, use selected note, it changes the note text, as well as the microwave. Let's go ahead right now and just select OK and see what happens. Now you know I left clicked on the drawing surface in this lower right corner. To move the note, just hover your mouse over the note, hold your left button on your mouse, and now you can move that note around anywhere on the actual drawing surface. If you want to, you can right click on the note and you can select offset note. As you can see, there we go. This note is now offset and it does have a leader. That's obviously not on the microwave. Let me kind of zoom out a little bit here. So I can left click on this again and just hold the mouse over, and let's just make it a little bit further offset. And now you can see my note is placed with that leader going to my microwave. Let's try this again. Let's select the note, and I'm just going to left click on the drawing pad. This time I'm going to select the stove. Use selected note. It changes my note text, and there we go. I can once again select the offset note and then get some leader marks there so I can point at that actual stove. Let's go ahead and move this around a little bit because that's not where I want it, and we'll select it right there. Now I would like to add the make and model number here for the stove. As you can see, when I added that note, it doesn't have the make and model number. Just right click on the note and then you can select edit note format, and then we could add this note here. Let's just call this a Samsung, and we'll just call this Mosaic, I don't know, stove. There we go. So now you have that note there pointing at that stove. This customer is going to buy this stove. It is a Samsung make, and it's called a Mosaic stove. Another thing you can do is you can right click on the note. Once it's placed on the drawing surface, you can delete the note if you would like, and you can uncheck the show when printed. Let me uncheck that. Now with this note not being checked, you see you have your make and model number for your microwave as well as your stove. Let's go to multi-print, and let's go to the elevation view I have here, and you can see there is the note for the actual microwave, but the note is not listed for that stove. If I want to list that note for that stove, I will need to go back to my elevation view, right click on the note, show when printed, and if I go back to the multi-print tab, you can see now that note is now visible for printing. As you can see, that stays where it needs to be there. Let's go back to the Products tab, Elevation View, and let's right click on this note one more time. Now, if you want to edit it even farther, you can select Edit Format Note. You can show a border around that particular note if you want to highlight it. You can also change the font color of the note. Let's just go ahead and pick a red for the font color. And then you can also change the background color if you would like. So this has a red font, yellow background with a border around it. There you go. So if you go back to your multi-print, there it is. It's noted and highlighted just like you set that up. Let's go back to the Products tab, Elevation View one more time, and right click on it. Now if you minimize the note, you can see the note is now minimized. It looks like a file folder right there for that particular stove. If you would like to restore the note, just right click on the note and then select Restore Note, and it brings it back to the original settings. Let's go ahead and right click on the note again, and let's go to Edit Note Format. You can easily change your font units to either font points, or you can change it to font inches. If you look at the font points, we have the font size at 14. You can also select a different font if you would like for the actual notes itself. Now that's set at 14, so if I scroll in, you can see those actual fonts stay at a size of 14. If I right click on that and select Edit Note again, and I change this to inches, so the font units would be inches and the size would be 14. Look how big that is. And as I scroll in, you can see that gets larger and sticks with the actual plan. Just remember that will affect your multi-print also when you are printing your multi-print. Let's go ahead and look at the elevation view and you can see what happened in that. Let's go back to the Products view, elevation. So spend a little time working with the notes in Mosaic, and this will help you create a more professional submittal for your customer.